pre-show for anybody
You need to leave.
who donates to the podcast.
It's 8:15. It's like too much commotion in here. You
Yeah.
guys want me to go somewhere else? Emma? Okay. Please go get ready for bed. Emma, you're not being helpful. If it's videotaped and I kill my children, is that going to be a problem?
I'll destroy it. If I knew how to destroy the evidence, I'm on your side, Jared. I've always wanted to be friends with a killer. Have you ever thought
Really?
about that before? Yeah, well, I've always wondered if I've ever shaken hands with somebody that killed somebody, or met, crossed paths with, ate lunch with, had a beer with.
So it would have to be someone who did it but didn't get caught, probably, because otherwise you would have known it.
Or
Well, maybe not.
Or he just got out of jail and
Cross paths with might be.
well,
I think if you would have eaten lunch with someone, you would have.
you
just
think
do a lot of-
I've never eaten lunch with anybody who's killed somebody. That's probably a good.
Do you just like casually eat lunch with people you don't know a lot about?
People that talk to themselves in the streets and stuff. Yeah. I invite those guys out for coffee with me all the time.
You doing a lot of reach out lunches?
You know me. I like to get involved with people in the public and
Yeah, I don't think I have, but I don't know, because you would think if they had been caught, they would be in jail for a long time.
depend. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, how long do you go to jail for murdering someone?
I don't know. There's not one set number.
What is, so I guess maybe self-defense.
Yeah.
Would
I
you
guess
count that, or do you mean like
I'm
actually?
I'm going more for cold-blooded, just
Okay.
straight up killer.
And how would that make you feel? Like, yeah, or is that
I'd like to go
something
back
you'd
and
want
I'd like to go
do?
back and revisit whatever conversation I had with him, see if I got any clue, if I overlooked any clues in what he was saying to me. That
This is a killer dip that we're having right now. Hey, Mark, what's your favorite band? I love the Killers.
the Yankees murdered the Red Sox last night. Murdered them in cold blood.
I was reading
Buried them in their backyard.
Slaughterhouse 5 last night and
Yeah.
watching the game, and it's almost like they just chopped them up and buried them,
Good.
and no one ever caught them.
How's that turkey sandwich?
Nice. Pretty good, Bill. Yeah, so we should introduce the show right before our
Yeah.
guy comes on. Saturday night in the mag room with the Mooga.
All around the world you can hear them. Hey, hey, hey. Talking about news and kind of funny stuff. Hey, hey, hey. Mag-room, mag-room, the mag-room, the mag-room.
We have a guest tonight coming on, David Edward, author of Atlantis Solved, the final definitive proof.
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Good.
David, what's going on?
Not much.
David.
I got
I'm Jared, and that's Mark.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Jared.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm on some podcast.
Well, the
that-
mag room. Welcome
any good?
to our little show.
Ours. Sorry.
Oh, the other
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Happy
Nice.
to be here. Happy to be here. And no, hold on. I got to ask a question.
Sure.
Am I on the mag room or am I in the mag room?
Well, we had that discussion last week.
What did you
Really?
did you listen
Is
to
that-
the Oh.
Is
you
that
just-
right? Oh,
It's
crap.
not.
I did. I even listened to your introduction of me. Uh-oh.
You are
Nice.
in it. You're in it.
I'm in it. I'm not on it. I'm in it.
But like in the future, you can say I was on the mag room. You know,
Okay.
I think in the present you're in it, and in the future you're on it.
Usually the guest just joins us for the show of us doing our thing. Like we go through some articles, some things of the day. We'd love for you to join in with it. All right. So Mark, you had something. We were just bantering about our week a little bit, but Mark had something he was going to share.
Just at the very end of the show last week, I brought up something that I had printed out, didn't get to. I heard the song Flashdance like 3 times last week. So the lyrics of this song here, I'm just going to read the first 2 stanzas here. Just a steel town girl on a Saturday night looking for the flight of her life. In the real-time world, no one sees her at all. They all say she's crazy. Locking rhythms to the beat of her heart, changing movement into light. She has danced into the danger zone when the dancer becomes the dance. I wanted to know what Jared thought it meant for a dancer to become the dance. But now I guess I kind of want to know what David Edward thinks about when a dancer becomes the dance.
I just saw Jared drinking an adult beverage, which I didn't know I could have brought. So I would have been a lot funner with
You
the
can go if you can go get one if you want.
Man, I appreciate that.
Wait, why you thought you couldn't? We wouldn't let you drink in your own house while you were on our show?
No, just I didn't realize. I was trying to gauge what level of professionalism I was walking into.
Oh, none whatsoever.
I don't know. Have we ever been drunk on this? There was probably one where near the end that we were.
I can remember two where I remember.
Yeah.
2 out of 4.
That you know what happened at that point? We became the dance.
You
became the dance. Exactly.
I've never seen the movie. Maybe it's explained in there somehow.
Yeah. I would say it's probably pure joy. Like you're just
very
in
grandiose
the flow of whatever's going on when the dance.
You're making it sound fun. I feel like these lyrics make it sound almost scary. There's more drama in what I'm reading. Yours, I could be wrong.
Like she's gonna take everyone down.
Locking rhythms to the beat of her heart, changing movement into light. She has danced into the danger zone. I mean,
I thought the first thing when I heard danger zone, I thought of Tom Cruise. I don't know what that says about me.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah.
That you're awesome.
Now, Flashdance, that's the one where the lady dumps water on her head on the chair.
She dumps water on her head. Maybe I don't even
want to know in the scene, the like water. I don't know. She's dancing
on the chair.
so much.
Come on, this is the big. This is
the iconic scene. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got Ghost with the pottery wheel thing.
The pottery
you've
wheel.
You've got the volleyball scene in Top Gun. You've got Arnold being back in Terminator, and then you've got the Flashdance chair water scene, which has been spoofed and mocked for 30 years.
It's not ringing a bell for me. Oops,
You've really never seen that?
That description of a scene is not ringing a bell for me.
Yeah,
I guess I just know the music, and I know.
And I literally have no idea what could be going on during that scene, because if I haven't seen it, but why a bucket of water was poured on her head while sitting on a chair dancing.
That's definitely an interesting question.
I think I was like 10 when I saw it.
Okay.
I can tell you exactly, because it was
we didn't know we were going to
awesome.
have the expert on Atlantis and Flashdance on.
I thought you said you didn't see it. Yeah, you should have answered. Go ahead.
Yes.
Take the stage.
Oh no, I don't remember it.
10 years old, it might have been formative in some part of your life.
It was very formative.
Can you only get an erection if somebody dumps a bottle of water on your head?
Nice.
I have one now with you just talking.
I think I've probably only seen the music video. Now that I'm thinking of it,
I think I'm gonna go buy the DVD. Is what I'm gonna do.
All right. Well, we could have Mooga's movies next time. Where you
should we talk about Flashdance 3 different episodes in a row? Is that
no,
going to the well too many times?
Probably is. Yes. And unless we have some closet Flashdance lovers.
Okay, but yeah, I didn't mean for that to be too long. I just wanted to.
All right. Great.
And next time you're at a wedding, try to become the dance. That's my message for this episode.
All right, so let's go to Sisk story. After I read this, I want to hear a little bit about your research.
Okay.
Because there's two stories I found about things people are doing that, if we look back at them, I don't know, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, it would be interesting to try to think about what people would be thinking if they're trying to research this. So, at some point, maybe at the end, I'd love to hear as you look back and try to research things about what's going on, putting those clues together and then trying to figure it out.
2,000 years
must be challenging. All right, so here's the first one. Sliced white bread on sycamore, whole wheat bread on cherry, toast on ash. These aren't the descriptions of an obscure tasting menu, but the contents of a Reddit site or community called Bread Stapled to Trees, a community of 315,000 enthusiasts who spend their free time traipsing through the great outdoors with a stapler and a slice of bread in hand. Why bread? Well, it's a staple food. So that's what they do. There's some rules. So I wanted to see if you guys could guess what the rules are of the Reddit community, bread stapled to trees, what you're allowed to do to get onto the site. How do you think the
stapling?
Yeah, what do you think the rules are?
You have to use a swing line stapler.
Okay, it does have to be stapled. Said it can't be taped, tied, or nailed because they don't want to harm the tree. How about anything about, what do you think number of pieces of bread you can staple? How many?
Just one per tree.
How about a loaf? 13.
Okay. It's in between. Everybody want a second guess?
6.
3 is the correct answer.
Now, do they provide rationale for these rules?
Well, they don't want to harm the tree with the staples, I guess. You can't use bonsai or young
about the bread?
trees.
Talk to me, bread.
Okay, the bread. Also, there's an acceptable bread list.
Pumpernickel.
Sourdough.
Sourdough, yeah. That should be, is that on there?
I gotta click the whole list. Hold on one second.
Yeah, do some more research right now. Sourdough's one of the
No,
best
there was
breads
a
ever.
link. I just printed it out, so I didn't.
I know.
All right, sorry.
Well, let me ask you this, Jared, since you have the list, which ones don't go good with cream cheese?
So Twinkies is on here.
That would, okay.
It's not a bread.
Tortillas, that wouldn't go great with cream cheese. What's
Actually, I have for breakfast every morning cream cheese on a tortilla. I swear to God.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I swear to God. Sometimes I
Don't
put bacon on it. I'm living healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
Sounds good.
I'll try it.
Oh,
out.
it's good. It's good. It's the way to go.
Taco shells. How would that staple? I mean, I guess soft taco.
Yeah.
Pizza. You could just staple a piece of pizza. Why? This just seems like everything. I don't know what's like unacceptable.
Sourdough.
Crackers. How did crackers? Crackers aren't bread.
None of
Croutons,
the things you've read yet have been bread.
Biscuits, bear claws.
Why do they call it bread? If none of the things
yes.
are bread.
Why do they call it bread?
That's a good
Why
question.
don't you just call it staple food to a tree? Or staple starchy food to a tree?
Yeah, but it wasn't all food. Yeah, starches. Maybe I'll go on.
Seemed
the
like
Reddit
everything you read, everything had to do with.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This will make the research difficult when people find photos or look at this site, or there's only fragments of information, and all of a sudden they're seeing different starchy items stapled to trees, and they're going to wonder what was
2,000
this
years from now. There's
civilization?
going to be a guy like David Edward. Is this
Yes.
what you're getting at? Who's going to
Gonna
be writing?
write about
What's
staple.
his conclusion going to be on?
I don't know. It's a good. I was wondering that. What would be the conclusion?
That sourdough's the best bread.
It's a warning
Yeah.
sign of.
So would you think the one that was stapled the least to the trees would be the best bread? Because people wouldn't be wasting it?
My theory would be to pretty much stay away from anything that has been stapled, because the process of it in and of itself probably wouldn't be something I want to put in my mouth.
You would need bread off. You would need a bread out. You found stapled to a tree in a park or something.
I went through the jungle training survival program in Panama, 2 weeks, 10 days. At the end of it, they cut the head off a boa constrictor, and you have to drink its blood to graduate. And I graduated.
That's how I graduated from Wake Forest.
Yeah, same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would not eat bread off a tree. So I don't know, boundaries, I guess.
I'm not one of those people that's freaked out by germs at all.
So, David, in February, we're actually having a festival in Florida at Mark's
you're
house.
invited.
You can come if you'd like.
What part of Florida? What part of Florida, Ian, Mark?
Jupiter.
Okay, I'm in Ocala.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're bored on February 4th, Magrum Festival. All right, so that's research. So that, and then the other one was this article from. I really should print out where they're from. You'd think the show was professional.
Axios. You know it's from Axios.
No, this is Wall Street Journal, actually.
That sounds professional.
Yeah, scientists have been arguing for years about the starting point of the Anthropocene. I probably said that wrong. The unofficial time when humans really began to having an impact on how the world looks. So here's research. Some say it was with the agrarian revolution when forests were cleared for farmland, or the first nuclear tests of the 1940s. So I guess there's a debate. Others say it began when we first started digging holes, sometimes deep, sometimes not, sometimes for no particular reason at all. So this is a group that just digs holes. They go to the beach, they dig holes, and that's what they do all day. Said praise the benefits of digging holes for the raw focus it provides in a world full of distractions. And then, yeah, so basically someday they're going to run upon, which we do right now, right? It said during the Cold War, I guess, I didn't know this, the Soviet Union and US raced to see who could dig the deepest hole. And the Soviets actually got farther. They dug the Kola super deep borehole, which was 40,000 feet deep. And then they ran out of money. But it went so deep that it inspired reports that engineers had broken through to hell and recorded the screams of tortured souls. The entrance has since been welded shut. So that seems like it could be a cool new book if somebody went down to the...
They welded the entrance to hell shut?
Yep. Yeah, and that's all that's holding it back. Like there's like just a piece of wood.
Welding? Oh, you said welded.
Have you ever heard of the YouTube channel, the Y Files? Freaking genius. His videos are brilliant. He did a video on the hole to hell, whatever they call it. Like maybe.
Oh, really? All right.
Ago. Yeah.
You're like more intelligent than we are is the problem. So
you want to take over hosting duties, David? Can I still be your sidekick?
That sounds like work. And B, I'm not more intelligent. I just don't sleep because I'm older than you guys.
Oh, that's true.
So pretty soon, once you fully stop sleeping, you'll have tons of time.
All right, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, I interrupted your story though. This is great. So the Y Files about the hole. What was about?
Well, pretty much what you said. It was like a 20-minute video on that, but I was more pitching the Y Files. I don't know the guy, but he tackles stuff like that, and he does like a really bang up job of it.
Wow. All right, we'll have to check it out.
Was there pretty verifiable evidence that it was 40,000 feet deep? Did it go into that at all?
No, the entire story was bullshit.
The best part of the article was that I guess they've been doing it on beaches, and some of the beaches are getting pretty mad because they're digging all these holes, and then people go to the beach and they like fall
and break their ankle. Yeah, annoying.
What's amazing that a beach could get mad.
Yeah. So when you did the research, I mean, these are obviously silly, but was it hard? I mean, is it difficult to try to decipher what's actually going on? Because I could just think if you didn't know who these idiots are that are digging holes in the ground, or that the Soviet Union and the US were trying to race to dig the biggest hole to the wherever, or people were stapling bread to trees and somehow somebody wrote about that, right? Somebody would come upon that later and try to make something of it. And really most of this is just nothing, right? So how do you parse that? Like when you look into what you're looking into?
The way you parse it is when you do research, there's two things that you look for. There's three things you look for. The first is what they call primary sources. And then you have directly supporting secondary sources, or we can sometimes call them directly supporting primary sources, meaning they're by themselves, they're not a primary source, but when you read them with a primary source, they support it, and it's an original work. So primary source means it's the primary means it's the first. So it's if you have, we're talking about the hole diggers, and one of them wrote their diary every day about all the holes they dug, and then we got a hold of that diary in 1,000 years when we were looking back. That diary would be a primary source. Now maybe that diary has been well known, and maybe over the 1,000 years, many brilliant people have read it and they provided opinions on what they think it says. Anyway, so you have primary sources, you have supporting sources, and then you have secondary sources. And secondary sources can be valuable, but for something like Atlantis, they're not valuable other than sometimes those primary sources get lost in history, but you still have those secondary sources that we're talking about them. And sometimes in those secondary sources, they copy blocks of the primary sources out. So you can use all of those as ways to, get back and get to the base or the root of the foundation of the information. So yeah, so you look for the primary sources and you try and push away the speculation and the nonsense. And
are there really any, for what you're writing about for your book, there's really not any primary sources, are there?
There is. Without a primary source, this is literally Ancient Alien, a movie, a city that lives underwater in a glass dome that's still functioning today. Yeah.
But you don't have anybody that was there, right? Isn't that what you were saying with the whole?
You want it? Okay. You want it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Here you go. So the primary source for Atlantis is this fella named Plato. But Plato wrote two dialogues. One's called Timaeus, or I call it Timaeus, but I think academically it's Timaeus. It's got a U in it. And the other one's called Critias. So Timaeus and Critias. And in these dialogues, he tells us all about Atlantis. And he goes to great detail to provide us the chain of custody for the information.
But so how did Plato know, though? Because he wasn't then, so that's the primary.
He didn't. That's what I'm saying. He's not it's not a primary source. He was told the story by somebody 9,000 years after it happened, right?
No. So Atlantis was destroyed in 9600 BCE. So what we have to do is we have to now shift our focus over to Egypt, which you've heard of. You've got the pyramids and the Sphinx and all that stuff.
Yep.
The Nile Delta, temples, all of that. So in 6000 BCE, we start to see a cult of a war god. It's a female deity called Neith, Neith. And this is as far back as you can go and still find things that look Egyptian. So it's 6000 BCE. And Neith becomes the mother of the Egyptian pantheon. So she becomes the god that made all the other gods for Egypt. So she's like the mother of Ra, all that stuff. The cult of Neith forms in the town of Sa'id in the Nile Delta, which in Plato's time became the capital of Egypt, by the way. So it was a pretty important place. So there's a temple, and this temple exists before what they call dynastic Egypt. So dynastic Egypt, the first dynasty, starts in like 2900 BCE. So this temple, the cult of Neith, and the story of Atlantis is around before the Egyptian dynasties. And it's written down, it's chiseled in stone.
I see.
In the temple of Neith. And it's a
so it's not Plato, it's the writings in the temple.
So and that's the recount of the survivors. Okay, so we have the first-hand account there.
Okay, so that's like the digging hole diary.
No, hold on, it's a long story, bro. Let me just lay the whole thing out. I know it's boring. You can edit it out. All right, so now we get to 600 BCE, and this guy named Solon, who is a real historical character. We know he exists. He famously is the person who arguably thought democracy might be something cool to try. So he's kind of the father of democracy, or the father of Athenian democracy. It's arguable, but he sits there at the beginning. And so he was a politician. So when he was trying to figure that out, he kind of traveled the known world, wanting to go talk to all the the superpowers and all of that, and get all their wisdom and the wisdom of the leaders. And of course, Egypt's a place you'd go. They were a very well-established old kingdom. So he goes to this temple in 600 BCE, talks to the priests, and they work with him painstakingly, and they write it all down. He writes it all down. And then he takes those writings back to Greece with him. And then he has a son named Dropides, who has a son named Critias. So he was one of the 30 tyrants that ruled in Athens, and everyone hated them, and they wanted up executing.
There was 30 tyrants? That's a lot of tyrants.
It was a lot.
So that's a bad streak.
That's what Plato said.
We got to stop electing tyrants, was what they would say. And
well, actually,
we musteth get to 30 first.
Someone might note that you don't actually elect the tyrants; they kind of elect themselves.
Yeah.
So the thing
sometimes it happens the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fair enough, but that's not what kind of show we're on. So.
No, it is not.
So yeah, but fair enough. So then in this dialogue that I talked about, especially the one called Critias, it's the Critias talking who read Solon's notes, which were direct transcriptions from the history that was chiseled into the wall, that is a direct recount of the survival.
Wow.
But you can see why I don't think that's a primary source.
It is primary. It absolutely is.
Well, the hard part is I think it is.
It's not.
I read.
I'm going to play the host.
It's
I'm
not a first hand.
With both of you.
It's not a first-hand account, but it is a primary account.
I think they're primary source, but I can also see, just from when I'm a teacher and I tell my children in my class something and then they pass it on to something else, how it can get muddled.
Well, what I would want to do, and we don't have time on this show, but if we really wanted to debate whether it was muddled or not, what we have to do is not talk in kind of theory, right?
Sure.
We have to pick the facts. And and this is what I do in the book, and it's not even really a book; it's a proof. So it's just like 100 pages. Do you know what a proof is? Remember that we did those in like geometry and stuff.
I teach math, actually.
Oh well, there you go. So that's what this is. It's a proof. It lines up the data, and then it does the analysis. It applies it.
Great.
And it reaches a conclusion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So people should read it. I mean, that's why we're on here. That's why you're on here today. They should check it out.
But my point was going to be, like, if you want to say, this or that isn't accurate or was mistranslated, we've got to get into the details. So just like in math, right? You got to show your work. If there's 10 steps to get into the answer, if the answer is wrong, you got to go back and figure out what step.
Yeah, and you make in math and proofs, you make assumptions, right? There's assumptions. So that's the part where someone would say, not the later logic you would hope would follow, but the early parts, like where does that come from? And again, a lot more than we do about this for sure. So it's just interesting, and it's always interesting. I like that comparison you made to a proof, because ultimately I think that was sort of my point here. That idea of like finding some details and then trying to draw a line to it, it can be very difficult to do.
Well, and when it comes to Atlantis, look, guys, and we're going through it right now. Atlantis is beaten to death, right? It's a joke. No one respects it. I put this book out, and my father read it, and he and I had a pretty good relationship. We read it 6 months ago, and then he called me. He got mad, and we haven't talked since.
Come on,
I'm dead serious. He got furious at me.
What did he say?
Because he
knows where Atlantis is.
Yeah, he knows all that.
Way. That's what the fight is about?
Not even a fight. He's just gone. Yeah.
You guys are disagreeing about where Atlantis is?
I guess.
This has driven a stake through your relationship with your father.
With my father. No, I've had people.
Was your father that into Atlantis that he decided he didn't want to speak to you anymore?
I guess.
That's insane. I didn't know.
All right, so
can we get him? Can we get him on right now?
I think we just answered our question.
I don't know. You won't answer my call. You have to contact him directly. I'll give you his number.
Yeah, maybe we'll have him on next.
I definitely want to get your dad on the show now.
Nice.
So here's the thing. It's a powerful book. And what frustrates the heck out of a lot of people is it is a proof. So just like I said, come at me all the different ways, but in the end, if we're really going to discuss it, we got to go point by point. And when you go point by point, I'm right.
I do know Mark does have something that on this show he'd say he would do that would probably be ill-advised, and we've asked every guest about it. Mark, I feel like just for consistency's sake, I should probably ask it. I know you said you were going to ask the question.
Yeah, I asked you 3 times if I could do it, but yeah, you do it.
You really want to do it? I don't.
No, go ahead.
All right. So on the show previously, we've talked about art. Do you like art at all?
Who? What?
Art, like pictures, modern art. Yeah. So all that stuff.
I like art.
So there's an artist called I don't even have his name in front of me, and I don't know how to say it anyway.
It's a good thing you asked the question, huh?
Michael E45. You're mad right now. Do you want to do this?
No, go ahead.
I just felt like to be consistent. I think you were gonna. All right. So Michael E45 is an artist, and one of his art things that he did was suck out his liposuction, his fat out of his body, made it into human meatballs, and then served it to people as a artistic expression. So the question that we've asked is, would you try human meatballs? Now, again, these aren't people that are like killed and made into meatballs. Assume it's a fancy party. You've been
still drawing out this question.
You've been invited. It's maybe at his opening show. You're in a nice tuxedo or something, and someone has the toothpicks and the meatball, but they tell you this is from some human fat, and you're going to try these meatballs. Would you eat?
The only way I would try it is if I could get 2 pieces of sourdough bread from the trees in the guy's yard. And if that happened, then I'd put it between the bread and
ding, ding, ding. All right, so you're the first guy that said you would do it. That's awesome. I said I would do it.
Why not?
I don't think I would do it.
Why not?
Well, isn't there something to be said like you're eating a human being?
You're eating a little part of them. I mean, it's.
So you're saying, if your friend I know it was a joke, but so human meatball, yes. Stapled bread to a tree, no.
Yes, that is a consistent summary of my position.
All right. I have to unpack that because the facts logic of that is interesting.
Well, not really, right? Because I'm assuming the meatball follows some type of health standard. I mean, if you tell me that the guy did liposuction, they spewed it into the toilet, then he scooped it out. No. You know what I mean? So now with the bread, do I really want to touch a piece of bread that 9 people have put their hands around and pushed into a tree and put staples on? I mean, come on. Look, if you line that up for February, I'm there.
I could spare 10 pounds of fat or so. I'll do it.
We'll do it. We'll have Mark balls.
Yeah, I like the name. Right. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for a good idea.
Mark, you got your first one. This is a roll. We're on a roll now. Your first agreement, and I even asked it and stepped on your toes. I'm sure you'll hear. Sure you'll hear about that later.
Ask it the exact same way the next time too.
Nice.
Yeah, the trick there is just take like 20 minutes like you did this time, and you wear them out.
Draw it out, beat the shit out of it, don't change it up. Yeah, that's fun.
David, any last words on your book that you want to give before we wrap up anything?
Yeah, tell us where you can buy it.
Yeah, so you can go, frequency99.com is the publisher website, and all my stuff is there. We also just launched a brand new YouTube channel. You guys know how hard it is to get a new channel going. The first video went up last night. I've got 3 videos up there. It's at A History Of on YouTube, and I'm putting videos up about Atlantis, kind of walking through these details. So
just real quick, have you ever been to Mauritania?
The guy I work with, David Steak Hansen, he was there the entire month of October. We brought a bunch of samples back and stuff. But I got a guy who goes. I don't really want to go to Mauritania. I've already been.
I read about it. It does not sound like a fun place.
It is brutal, dude. You know what? Mauritania is at the 40,000 foot mark of that hole y'all were talking about earlier. I mean, it is the Western Sahara Desert. There's hardly any water. It is brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal, yeah.
That's in his writing. That's where you claim it is, right? Atlantis.
That's where it is. I don't claim.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Forgive my wording. But yes, that's where definitively with nothing but proof is.
Where it's salt.
I'm just telling you. That's why I asked that question. There's a country in like northwestern Africa. Is that where it is?
No, it's just West Africa. Mauritania goes in about 500 miles, but from the sea, from the Atlantic Ocean, it's below Morocco. And it's above the Congo and kind of all the stuff we know about Africa. But literally, when you look at it, it's the big section is nothing but sand, kind of on the western, that western curve. Yeah.
Everything about it seemed brutal. The people, the culture, the landscape.
Well, this is where all those movies.
A lot of wormholes to go down in researching Atlantis. By the way, I was trying to read just different things about it, what you said about it, what other people said about it, and you get led down all Nazism. They tie Nazism to Atlantis. They tie all sorts of interesting, weird.
It's been everything. This is the challenge with it. It literally, and I mean literally, it's been everything. You can find someone over the past 100 years that has said anything about it. It'd be everything from nuclear submarines to UFOs to people will say Atlantis is the moon, it's the Earth, it's the universe.
I found stuff about. I ended up reading about. I went down a mushroom wormhole. Reading about. I don't even remember what the connection was there, but I remember it had to do with outer space.
Well, yeah, and mushrooms. You guys do ayahuasca? Have you done that?
I have not.
Oh, you yeah, of course.
I would think I would try it. I don't know.
There's a place. You're close to it. There's a place in Orlando. There's like
does ayahuasca?
Yeah.
You can, and to just the general public, you can go and.
I mean, it's like a ceremony.
It's Florida, Mark.
But it's all bullshit.
Right,
but yeah, it's like a ceremony. It's like a church, and you pay them a couple $100, and you and a group of people go in there and.
Well, I think I know what you should bring to the mag. I think you should bring that to the mag. I mean, if we're being.
Well, I'm not a shaman. I'm not allowed to carry it anywhere.
You're my new shaman.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe you know what? It's like Chick-fil-A. Maybe we can have them. We can have them cater the party.
All right. Well, let me wrap it up here. This was great, David. Thank you for joining us in our. Hopefully, it was somewhat enjoyable for you. We had a fun time.
I want you guys to know that I'm never going to forget this experience.
That's our goal. We don't want to be boring.
That sounded real.
Or anything but
Did it sound real? That's awesome.
I'd do it one more time. I bet
okay,
you can do it one more time.
Yeah, I want you guys to know. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it one more time. So yeah. That's
well, you're gonna have to do our last line for the show. So okay. I'm gonna give my little run out, and then I'm gonna tell you our last lines. But you already know it because you're big.
I apologize. I didn't make it all the way to the end.
All right. Produced by Uncle Chen. Theme song by Meggie Yellox. Email moogaandsisko@gmail.com. We'd love to hear feedback about episodes or questions and things. We always like emails. We do have Instagram and Twitter, the Magroom Pod. No one really follows that, but that's fine. Remember, festival, February 4th. David Edward has said he will possibly be there, so there's a chance you'll get to meet him at the festival. And then this is our final line. Our last line is, and hopefully you'll want to say it, stick with the Magroom and everything else is cream cheese.
Stick with the Magroom and everything else is cream cheese.
Ooh, I like Magroom. I like Magroom. Ooh, Magroom is good. Magroom is good. Ooh, I like Magroom. I like Magroom. Ooh, Magroom is good. Magroom is good. The Magroom's good. Ooh, I like Magroom. I like Magroom. Ooh, Magroom is good. Magroom is good.
ha ha ha, I'm going to do this